this out. I have my Commodore 64 here that my parents bought for me in 1983. It's got a cartridge called the Ultimate 2 Plus plugged in. It's on Ethernet. This thing is on the internet, the cartridge is. And I just upgraded to the latest firmware. So I'm going to hit the menu button on it and then hit F5 to pull up this menu. There's a new tool called Assembly64, which is a huge project on the internet to collect a collection of all Commodore 64 software. So I'm going to tell it to search for the first game that I ever owned, or we ever owned for the Commodore 64, and go down here and choose search. It sends the query out, finds all these versions of it. I'm going to choose that first one there and load it up. It says it's a D64, 171K. I'm going to tell it to run that disk. A D64 is a digital version of a Commodore 64 5¼ inch floppy. I had the game on tape first back in the day, but you could store it to a disk as well. And it's typing the commands that I would load it from the disk drive if it were connected. The Ultimate 64 is pretending to be a disk drive and even making sounds that sound sort of like what it sounded like when you ran it back in the day. I have my joystick from back in the 80s, my Spectra Video joystick, and you can see that it's loading up here. Coming up, the game's loaded. It says by John Fitzpatrick, 1982. So it's an over 40-year-old game. I'm going to hit the fire button, and now my race car is idling at the gas station there. I can pull it out of the gas station and out onto the road. And this is like a pole position-like game where you're looking from above instead of in perspective. And, you just drive it through. Like I said, the machine cost $595 when my parents bought it for me. The game I remember cost about $20 back in the day on tape, and we had a tape before we had so I had to slow down there a little bit to avoid those rocks. And there I crashed. So awesome, right? The guy named Gideon who wrote this thing just released right before Christmas on December 28th, this new firmware with this integration, and you've got a jukebox where you can run like all the Commodore software. Amazing.